So, hello everyone, and thank you for um, tuning in. My name is Ido Niemann. I'm the founder and CEO at Firefly, and I want to spend the next few minutes talking about the concept of cloud asset management and why it's important. Um, so first, a quick word about Firefly. Firefly is a solution, or we believe the leading solution for cloud asset management, and we are commonly regarded as the next-gen CMDB. We allow you to see everything that you have across the entire cloud footprint: AWS, GCP, Azure, Kubernetes, Red Hat, serverless and SaaS application that runs on the cloud. We allow you to automatically achieve 100% infrastructure as code coverage. We increase dramatically the efficiency of DevOps, SRE, and platform engineering teams, and we allow you to reduce the MTTR, the mean time to resolution of cloud incidents, by more than 71%. And we allow you to use automation to automatically remediate any cloud issues that put your uptime on jeopardy. We work with companies of all shapes and sizes, from small startups to Fortune 10. We have hundreds of customers over each bracket, and we allow them to unlock efficiencies in cloud resiliency and cloud operational efficiencies. All right, coming back into the narrative. What you see in front of you here is a very limited scope of cloud operations complexity. In the day-to-day of multi-cloud, and on each cloud we have multiple accounts. Some of our customers, we see them running with 10,000 accounts across the three clouds. Then you use hundreds of different open source solutions and third-party applications like Jenkins and Cloudflare and Akamai and Aviatrix or anything else. And you, as the cloud practitioner, as the owner of IT, and as the one that manages infrastructure for your organization, how do you should know what you really have there? This chaos is unsustainable, and this is why the cloud demands an asset management solution, just like any other domain requires one. Before I move forward, I want to share with you some insights from a recent survey we released from Firefly. It's called the State of the IIC. It's a community survey that talked to cloud practitioners and got some ideas and insights out of them. So first, we see that cloud practitioners are experiencing increased complexity. So the number one difficulty trend attributed to cloud is first complexity, then cost, security, and time. Then you see that multi-cloud and multiple accounts is growing really, really big. In the lighter blue, you see that last year you had only or just under 20% with more than 100 different cloud accounts, and today it's more than 30%. So this number is a bit alarming, I would say, for IT leadership. And lastly, we can see that the number of infrastructure as code tools, or IAC, is significantly on the rise. Last year, the number of organizations that had more than 6 different IAC tools was close to zero. Today, it's more than 10%. And this is quite a lot. Imagine how much knowledge and training and operational time is invested in having so many different frameworks. But every use case demands the right use case and tool to support it. Sorry for that. All right. So how are we able to overcome all of it? The answer is infrastructure as code. Infrastructure as code and cloud scanning together allows us to see everything that we have across our multi-cloud times Kubernetes times SaaS configurations, understand its actual state, and then compare it and manage it with the configurations that we desire them to hold with infrastructure as code, tools like Terraform and OpenTofu and Pulumi and Crossplay and CloudFormation and so on and so forth. And Firefly is the solution that sits in this intersection and allows you to enjoy all these benefits automatically and with ease. So we need to ask ourselves, why do so many companies go and try to achieve a fully codified cloud? What are the benefits? So we start with increased speed, reliability, and cost efficiency. Then there's everything regarded to disaster recovery and backup and restore capabilities. Let's start with efficiency. Once you deploy cloud resources using the console by, let's say, an AWS or an Azure, using the console with ClickOps, it's not scalable, and you can't have your teammates working with you. So if you want versioning and sharing code between team members and have consistencies, you got to do it in code. Then if you have everything in code, it's very easy to adopt governance as code and ensure that your cloud environment follows industry best practices, your own internal guardrails, and any other compliant or regulation. Then after things are put in code, you can easily detect drift, any deviation from the desired state. Once a deviation from the desired state is detected, you can then go ahead and fix it and use some automation because it's code. Lastly, if a cloud resource is codified, it de facto means that it's managed and owned. Managed because you have in code how you want it to look like. It can go up and down. It can be moved across different environments. You can have the same piece of code, like a module, across dev, staging, or production environments, and just change the variable. But more importantly, it's connected to a person. It's not just a standalone cloud resource. You can tie it to a Git repo where the piece of code lives and to the users that touched it. And we talked about disaster recovery really briefly, but I want to double down on this point for a second. Imagine how much time your cloud teams are investing in creating all those cloud configurations. It's quite a lot of time. And what's happened if you have an incident? If tomorrow morning something bad happens by a third-party hacker or your own mistake or anything else, how do you make sure that this environment can come up to operational efficiency in the shortest time lapse as possible? The answer is it got to be codified, because it doesn't matter if I have backups for all my data. If I don't have the capability to repave the environment in the cloud that holds this data, I can't really use it. So if everything is constantly scanned and codified, you can also use it to have a backup and restore ability. And the last point here is cost saving, to find waste on your cloud and to control the cost, but also forecast the cost and attribute it. Attribute between what's going into your cost of goods, if it's production environments or dev environment, and then it's R&D expense, or forecasting. Let me know how much my next cloud deployment is going to cost for my team. And then, because we saw so many reasons to go full IAC, completely codified cloud, we asked in the infrastructure as code, what's the status of getting there? And we see that 64% of the respondents are seeing that more than 50% of their cloud is already codified, but then they have challenges in achieving 100% codification. And it's a very big challenge, because codified cloud is not a project, it's a process, because the cloud constantly changes. Then you have everything as code. This is an up-and-coming approach, which tells me I don't want only my cloud native environment, only my AWS, GCP, Azure, and Kubernetes resources codified. I want everything codified. I want my GitHub codified. I want my Cloudflare, my Akamai, my GitLab, my PagerDuty, my MongoDB Atlas, and so on and so forth. Everything as code is picking up and unlocks multiple efficiencies. And there's a growing need to get visibility into your actual codification status versus where you want to be. So what's the key requirement? Have at least 2 ongoing scanners. Constantly scan your cloud, see everything that you have in your cloud, and a next-gen CMDB-like inventory with all the relationships and ownership and data about the resource and its license, but then constantly scan the state files, state APIs, and code for it, and compare them. Once you do it, you know where you stand. You know how much of your cloud is codified or managed versus unmanaged, misconfigured, drifted, or inefficient. And how this journey looks like. A typical journey to a well-managed cloud starts with the discovery, inventorying everything that I just mentioned. Then we start to find all the unmanaged resources and codifying them, starting with cloud, then Kubernetes, then everything is code with a SaaS application. Then we add the controller. We take away drifts and misconfiguration. We put in place some policies and governance as code, and we put a very detailed alerting mechanism to allow different teams or different practitioners take note of events that that are relevant for them. And this is where we start to improve it. We can improve it with connecting GitOps, or we create custom policies, or now today with AI, we add AI predictions to outages or any incidents that are going to happen, or some runbooks, automatically fixed runbooks for incident in the SRE world. And then lastly, I want to mention a story that Ron asked for me to share about a journey that a Firefly customer had. So I can't disclose the name because it's a very large Fortune 500, and they're with us for just over 6 months now. I want to show you what they achieved with us in 150 days using Firefly. So on this part of the slide, on the upper right side of the slide, you see how they started. This was like a week in. A week in, they had less than 30% of the cloud codified. And I'm talking about hundreds of different cloud environments across 3 clouds in Kubernetes, almost 22% drifted, 40% unmanaged, and 9% ghost. Ghost are resources that they wanted to have in the cloud, but somehow were deleted or missing from the cloud. After 150 days, they are in this amazing situation. 99.2% codified cloud, minimal drifts that are going to be fixed soon, and minimal unmanaged resources probably going to be dissolved in the next working week. So the 99% codified, they completely remediated drifts and ghost. They are disaster recovery ready, and because they are very big, they were already audited for backup and restoring and business continuity. They did the drill with Firefly and was super successful. They manage everything as code. So if you want to adopt a new CDN or a new password manager, they do it with infrastructure as code. In their case, it's a flavor of Terraform. They have governance as code adopted by multiple teams, obviously the platform team, but also SRE, DevOps, backend, and SecOps teams. And they have full infrastructure as code predictability. This is what you can see right here. Anytime there's a new pull request to deploy a new cloud resource, they know how this cloud resource deploys other resources and connect to it, understand what action they're going to take, what's the associated cost, what are the risks, are there any implications to this plan about existing production environments, and so on and so forth. And lastly, we're very proud of it, but it's not a core competency of us. They saved hundreds of thousands of dollars of annual savings, because with a well-managed cloud, with cloud asset management, you take away lots and lots of waste. With good governance as code, you just adopt FinOps best practices with ease. I think I ran through this, but after you achieve this stage, you want to modernize, continue to modernize your stack, not just adopt infrastructure as code, but adopt it as modules, do the next gen of governance as code, and have the backups for the incident response. And continue waste management is a constant struggle. That's it, folks. I'm happy to answer any questions. I will say Firefly has a free tier. If you have a small environment you'd like to try it, it's free forever. But we also have 14-day free POC, which can also translate into cloud control assessment. We give you an assessment on how your cloud looks like, what you really have there, how you benchmarked against industry best practices, what's codified versus unmanaged. And you can achieve those through this link right here, app.firefly.ai, or scan this QR code that will take you there. This is a small tribute we did to the recent launch of Dune 2 with Spice Up Your Cloud. And if you'd like to use an AI-generated governance as code, check out our open source, which is AIAC. It's aiac.dev. And with this, I think I'm done just on time.